nice bird. Is that actually a bird or is
You're
that somebody's?
That's I'm sitting.
All right. Okay, great. So here we are in our Cosmic Alignment Tribe Zoom group, and we just really never know exactly what's going to happen. But what I am planning to do, take everybody through in a few minutes, what some may not be familiar with it yet. It's my version of a process that I learned called the One Command. And basically, I'm going to kind of walk us through a visualization to get out to the edge of space and then call in certain things and people. And we'll bring that back down. And it's just a couple things that I want to say about that is that I'm going to be saying things and hopefully some of it incorporating what you guys are going to tell me, but also if there's something, that feels right for you in your head when we're doing like the command part, and you'll know it when we get there, put that in for yourself to make it more personal and more right. What else did I want to say about it? It has been proven in a Petri dish that the twists of our DNA when we're relaxed. I mean, you could take like my DNA, put it in a Petri dish, and if I'm upset in the same room or even down the hall, my DNA will twist up tighter. And when it twists up tighter, it is allowing fewer chromosomes to like express because they're in there. And when you're, relaxed and feeling good and in well-being, the strands of DNA actually unwind a bit. And so there's more of us and who we are to express or to come through. And so part of the process in this visualization, after we sort of go up and out and connect, and then we're bringing things back in. And part of the visualization is literally unwinding every strand of DNA and sort of relaxing it, dropping stuff, bringing stuff in. I'll talk us through it, but I just wanted to make the point that it's not just like a fun visualization. It's actual, like real proven science, at least some scientists have proven it, that we're affecting our DNA and how our DNA expresses itself in the world, and, our capacities, and who knows what all those other chromosomes that they decided were junk can really do, because we just don't know yet. So I'm just somebody 509-548. Is that I'm thinking it's either Susan or
that's me. That's Susan.
Susan. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Hi guys.
Excellent. So I was just going to say, Susan posted something in a group earlier, and I'm going to just paraphrase really briefly. Because I want to, get into doing this, but you could go read what she shared about another energy worker healer who somehow works with the energy of your bones. But the gist of it that I got is that this woman was talking about current events and then did whatever she did, I guess, and it was almost a challenge to say, like, okay, how does this sit with you? Like, where are you going to stand in change, on racism, on most or all of us in the group being some version of white. And I don't want to get into like even sort of the everyday of things like that, not because it's important, but I feel like it's sort of outside of the scope somewhat of what we're kind of here to do. But I do want to address it on that level of, that we are like souls and eternal beings, and that this process that we're going to go through, part of it is being able to tap into your ancestry. And so I'm kind of taking, what Susan was asking, interested to know, my take or to just play with it in the group today. So I'm kind of bringing that with us. Does that make sense? Susan?
Yeah, thank you for including that, Miche. I didn't know how well it would fit for the evening, but the couple things that really struck me was, one, the question that she included was, what is it you feel in your body, as an impulse to do something about it, which I had never thought about focusing on it that way, but and then also just the idea of, you know, since you're energy work master, just to me it was another new idea that we're all, you know, we all inherited dynamics of racism, even if we don't consciously subscribe to it. I think it, you know, it's just part of,
Right.
you know, part of what we came into, part of the system, and I hadn't thought of it before in terms of being an energy that's present in our energy system that's based on fear. So I just thought that was relevant too, to just, it was a new way to look at it. But also, as you said, the challenge as to, you know, it's time. It's just a great opportunity to become more active and not be passive about it, which was just something that would hit me personally. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I appreciate your including that. It's just, it was what was up for me.
Great. Okay. Thanks. And if anybody wants to, it doesn't have to be on this topic, and it can. Yeah, Lynn.
I think it would be helpful, at least for me, to try and find a way to feel positive, to keep a positive outlook around all of the sadness and the fear, because it's really heavy right about now. Sadness is really heavy.
Okay.
You know, and staying positive is kind of a challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think there is a lot of grief.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to toss something into
I just think it's interesting. It makes sense to me now, hearing that you were having this discussion, or even thinking of bringing it up in here, why I felt compelled, like I was getting messages that I needed to post something about it. And so I did, about fear-based. And that's what it is. It's all fear that we instill in our children, and our parents instilled in us, based on events that happen and in our lives that tell us that, oh, Black people are bad, or Black people think cops are bad, and or white people are bad, that create it. And then we create our own personal hell. So it's interesting hearing you going through this, and wondering if you should bring it up. And then it was like, that's why I was getting messages that I should bring it up too.
Right. We are all connected. So
Yes, we are.
anyone else, and it could be anything, you know, if there's something that you feel like wanting to sort of get rid of, or form, or bring in, all of this can be incorporated in the trip that we're about to take. So going once. Okay. Andy, got something there, or?
No.
Nope. All right. Gloria.
I just, this last week, have just had a lot of chest pains. So I just need to get rid of sadness. There's a lot of sadness, I think, just sitting in my heart area. Just had some events happen at home, and it was my mum's passing anniversary yesterday of 2 years. And yeah, it's just all catching up to me, I think.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, because, you know, this sort of gets incorporated now into what I do and how I take us through. So, you know, if you're comfortable, or be comfortable, sit comfortably, whatever, and process best done with your eyes closed. One other thing is that at some point I'm going to instruct us all to, with your eyes closed, look up as if you're looking out the top of your head, and kind of hold that. It's not necessarily the most comfortable thing, but it triggers your brain to go into theta state. And so that's what is part of this process, to kind of get us into a different brainwave where we can really tap into like other capacities and realities more so. So, all right. So yeah, just be comfortable and close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that there's a beam of light that just runs through your body, and going down, energy of that going down through the soles of your feet, down into the earth like roots of a tree, Just really feeling down into the earth, to like the center of the earth, and the richness and the steadiness, the resource that the earth is. It holds us, it feeds us, keeps us where we are, keeps us grounded. I'm going to mute you, Lynn. That is our dog with her favorite.
Yeah, that's probably good. Although you'll hear it in the other room, I'm sure.
Well, maybe, but let me, how do okay, I mute you. No, did I? I did. Okay, right. Okay, so we're down with our roots, reaching down into the earth and drawing up from the earth up into our bodies, into our legs, going up our legs into our pelvis, this same strength and richness and the capacity and resource of the earth, and bringing that up as light and energy, up this beam of light into our heart. And just pause for a moment in your heart and tap into the good heart that you are, and the love and the compassion that exists there. And then I want you to continue taking your awareness along this beam of light up into your higher chest and your throat, and up into your head and out the top of your head. There's this beam of light that goes all the way out to the edge of the universe, and we're going to follow it with our awareness while our body stays grounded in this moment. And as you're following out the top of your head, to turn your eyes up as if you're actually watching this beam of light traveling on the beam of light. You're going out to the ceiling of the room that you're in, and out of the home, the house, out through the sky and the clouds, past the sun, through the universes and the galaxies. We're just traveling all the way to imagine that there's just black, nothing out there but awareness. And you can kind of, like it's a black curtain, you can sort of peek around the edge of that to this incredibly beautiful white light, which is the source of all that is. And from that place, I'm going to formulate the commands, the requests of what we can access from this place. And the formulas, I don't know how I tap into the beauty and the unity and the clarity of the soul that I am, of the energetic being that I am, that understands and lives in oneness and unity with all other beings, that is in peace and harmony just naturally, and can bring that through every part of my body, through my voice, through my actions. And I don't know how I am able now in my life to release any wounds and any wounding and any patterning and fear or anger or despair that has to do with separation, that has to do with anger or fear or hatred toward others or them toward me, and how this has happened to my ancestors for centuries. I don't know how I understand that these are my biological ancestors. These are the ancestors of my human life and my human suit. And I can also draw in from beyond that time and space my energetic and spiritual ancestors who can see beyond that, who know peace and love and happiness, and can help me disentangle from any kind of racism or prejudice or dis-ease around being fellow humans in this life and on this planet. I don't know how. I am naturally moved and inspired to take action or to give voice to some thoughts or some feelings whenever it's appropriate in the ways that are most healing and helpful for me and for all others. I only know that all of this is so now in this moment that I call it in. It's true for me. And I am grateful for the opportunity and fulfilled. Just sit with that for a minute and feel whatever, however you experience it, this expansive, eternal spirit, soul that you are, that is beyond any sort of conditioning or prejudice, and feel that is the truth of who you are. And then also, how does it show up for you, your ancestry on all sides, as we've been incarnating for so many lifetimes. We have been in played every role of this human play on this side. And it is, from the bigger, vaster point, it is the play of human consciousness. And we have opportunity to release that here and now, to release it for ourselves, to release it for our ancestors, and to bring in new capacity and new possibility, and to release the old stories, release the shame or the guilt or the burden or the grief for anything that has happened to us or by us or alongside us while we have just been living our lives. And just allow that to take its own feeling or shape for a moment. And we're going to head back down our beams of light in a moment. But before we do that, I would like you to ask for a gift or a memento, something from Source, something beyond your capacity, beyond your imagination. Just be open and willing to receive something as a gift to yourself, a gift to bring back. It can be anything. Just take a moment to receive that. And now, with your new awareness and your gift, I want you to come back down this beam of light, back through the galaxies and the universes and past the planets, through the heavens and the atmosphere and the clouds, the trees, coming back down your beam of light all the way down back into your body fully. And coming with you is the awareness and the new understanding and essence of who you are, and the release and the relief from what you've been able to leave behind for yourself and for generations before and after. and allow all of this to just continue following you down your beam of light and percolating out into every cell in your body and every strand of DNA. As your DNA unwinds, and as it unwinds, it's releasing old patterns and habits and beliefs and old constructs and old outdated rules and blueprints of what it has been to be here as a human, to be here as a spiritual being. It's unwinding and releasing all of those false assumptions and misdirections. And these new awarenesses, this new capacity to live in a different way and to see and speak and be inspired from a different level now incorporates into your DNA and picks it up. And this is now the frequency, this is the story and the vibration that you are vibrating with and from. And as an energetic being, this is also the new story and the new energy that you are emanating out into the world. So you have been changed. You have changed yourself in this moment. And you have changed the world around you. And you have changed what the world perceives of you as you shift your energy and bring in this new story and new abilities and new energetics. Let's take another moment or two to continue absorbing that, maybe seeing your DNA receive this and twist a little comfortably. And when you feel complete, or in the next couple of minutes, whichever comes first, come on back into the room and into the group. Well, it used to be, I'm trying to unmute you, but I guess you have to unmute yourselves. I must have it set so that I'm not allowed to do that. Okay.
There.
Yeah.
It
So,
asked me and I accepted.
okay. Excellent. How was that?
That was me putting a cup down.
Yeah, gotcha. I was just asking how was that, not what was that.
Oh, sorry. Obviously, I didn't get clarity on understanding everybody. It was very good. I was tingly and relaxed, and I felt like I was floating. I guess maybe I'm still floating.
Yeah, this is actually
The last time,
Go ahead.
can I go for a sec?
Yes, please.
The last time I did this with you, I kind of spaced out at the ask for a gift, kind of thing, and it made like this time even more important because it was really clear. I got like a circle that got more focused, and it stopped before it got so small that you couldn't see anything. It came just down to a small circle, and it was basically, it was a magnifying glass. It was like if it's hard to see the beauty and the sacredness of, you know, all of the experiences of all of our moments, if we're looking at such a big picture. And maybe it would be easier if you focused on little pieces, and it would maybe be easier to see the sacred, you know, and the beautiful. So it was a really good gift, because you don't think about it. You know, you look at everything that's going on, and it's so big.
Right.
You know, it's yeah. So that was very nice. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Anybody else want to share anything about how that went or what they experienced? Or
It was interesting because when it got to the gift part, it's funny that she mentions that. I guess it's not a coincidence, but my dog came in and it was starting to get distracting and noises. And right when I hear, you know, this is a very special gift, my gift to you. And then it was like I was sliding down a slide, and I was like reaching my hand up to try and grab this gift, and it was like they were following after me, but I was falling down the slide. Like I didn't get it. But I know I will.
right.
At first, I thought this experience of the slide was a gift.
Oh, maybe it
See,
is.
that's what I
Oh,
was just going to
didn't
say.
even think of that.
Right.
That was like screaming in my head. The slide is the gift.
Thank you for that. I didn't even think of that. I'll have to figure out what that means to me, but wow, I didn't even think.
Right. And I just
thank you. Insight is good.
The calm and confidence of, well, I didn't get it, but I know I will. You know, I mean, that's
right.
Not your everyday sort of response to, oh, I was going to get something really special, but I missed out. Or
and then I missed out. Yeah, I was like, oh, I know, it's coming. It's coming. That's true. Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to do with the ease of moving through situations. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because it almost like, because of my past experiences, falling down a slide and reaching my hand up, I automatically put like, oh, I'm missing out on something, but that wasn't the feeling. It was more of it wasn't a scary fall. It was a slide, like I said, right? So slides are fun, and you know, it was a ride. Enjoy the ride, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Lynn, I just wanted to say, you know, about the magnifying and bringing it down. I mean, it's as sensitive as we all are to energy and to change, you know, on that level. It's an enormity. And if we feel like we've got to hold that whole thing ourselves, I mean, and not even necessarily alone, but, you know, it's like, how can you wrap your heart or your arms around that? And if you can stay focused, I guess, you know, and stay in your moment and what's in front of you or who's in front of you, that also ripples. That does go everywhere, right? I mean, that's like what we do in the Wednesday night meditations when we're sending the love and compassion from our hearts out everywhere. It's like our heart doesn't have to cover the earth. We just are sending, you know, our intention and our energy. So
yeah, and it didn't just feel like focus on my part. It was like look at this and focus on it, and then you can look at this and focus on this and something else and something else. It was like taking everything in little bites.
Yeah, nice.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I always worry about the elephant though, so that one's a hard one for me, but I get it. You don't eat an elephant. Okay.
Yeah.
You said I did
Yeah,
natural
you just
causes.
don't need to
All
know.
right. So, Judy, did you want to say
It
something?
also,
For me,
Yeah, you.
you know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I have no memory of this.
Okay. Okay. So we did a visualization. We
I
kind
must have fallen asleep.
okay. All
I
right.
must have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens. That's what I was
Right.
telling you about.
Right. And
But
the
I'll,
part of you that needed to hear that heard it. I trust that. But it is kind of awkward to come back and not have that awareness in a discussion. So yeah.
I know it's weird,
Yeah.
but this is being
I've
recorded.
done that. I've
It-
done that a bunch. You know,
This
it's
is-
like
this
you'll be
is-
like, and when I said this and this, and I'd be like, I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, I know you guys are
I
talking
know I
about all
didn't
this stuff.
actually fall asleep, but
mhm.
sometimes you got to trust that the stuff that is supposed to be in there gets in there.
Well, it's just that when it gets a little bit dark out, I feel my body is just so attuned
Mhm.
to the earth or something that I can barely stay awake at this
Mhm.
time of day, which is not late.
Right.
Even on the East Coast, it's not late, but it's dark and it's raining.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised to see you sit up.
crawling
Actually,
all
I figured we were just gonna, leave you there peacefully sleeping. So it's all good.
what is
Ma-
that?
Maybe it's a sign that you need just to rest and recover or something.
Well, it's this is just my normal rhythm.
Oh, okay.
I'll be up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Uh, we'll
That's
do-
normal for me.
the setup now is the four times in the late afternoon, at least in my time zone, and four times earlier in the day is so that we all do have different rhythms or different parts of the world, and so to try to help accommodate, and some of these things will be
Oh yeah.
exactly repeated, but I'll certainly do the one command process again on other things, and we'll get to
Well, it's going to be interesting because, I have stayed awake. Like when there's something on TV I really have to watch. I don't ever watch TV, but if there's something that I really, really want to watch, I can stay awake fine.
well, when it's right,
But
when you
But-
have to hear what I'm saying, you'll be awake. I trust that.
well, it's the combination. It's the combination of I don't have any lights on in the room,
Mhm.
and it's dark out,
Yeah.
and I'm relaxing.
This is funny. You say, what I notice is that you will say whenever the sun goes down that you get tired, and then you're making sure that you do everything to make sure that's true. You're turning the lights out, getting real relaxed.
Well, it got dark. I, in the last hour. I didn't notice it too much, but
I want
I
to
don't even have a lamp.
move on and hello, Heather. You don't know what's going on either because you weren't even here, and we'll sort of catch you up. But I did want to hear from Gloria and Susan if you had anything to say, that came to you from this process that we just did. If anything you want to share.
I just faced out.
Mhm.
I went up. I heard a lot of what you said, but a lot of it ended up getting blocked for some reason. My mind wandered a little bit. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you feel
I
different.
love your
at all?
accent.
Oh,
Or
thank you.
what was that?
Somebody liked her accent.
Oh, I just had a.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. All right. Well, something happened, and see, how things might unfold, and sometimes there's something else in the way, right? Something that needs to be cleared before that gets, and we'll keep working on
Yeah.
things. So yeah,
Yes,
Susan.
most definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Susan, are you there?
So I have so there's Susan. So I had a question with rolling my eyes up because it almost hurt a little bit when I, rolled them all the way up. Was
Yeah.
was that supposed to be just for a few seconds, and then I wasn't sure if I was supposed to do that the whole time?
Yeah, if you can do it the whole time, because it is, when you're rolling your eyes up like that, it's helping you to go into theta. But it's uncomfortable. It's weird and it's uncomfortable to do that. And so I just figure we kind of start that way. And rather than tell you, okay, now stop, your eyes will just do what they want to do, when they're ready, because I think it would take a lot of practice to maintain that, looking at the top of your head thing. And
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious whether I was supposed to keep trying.
yeah, you did just fine.
It's kind
so
of a
for-
focus thing.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry.
Yeah, Susan.
Or I could do it just a little bit gently, because
Mhm.
when I try to really do it, it is a little uncomfortable. Anyway, so for my gift, I got rain, and it was like maybe an energetic rain.
Uh-huh.
And so I just sort of take it as a symbol, and I'm not sure how it makes the most sense to interpret it, but it's something I'll continue to play with, kind of.
Mhm. Right.
I mean, I think of rain as being, both, and actually it's been raining here today too, where I am, and it has been kind of a dry spring, so the ground is thirsty. So it both feels like, a nourishing rain, but also, rain is sort of cleansing, and then just. Now I had something else I was going to say and my mind went totally blank. Anyway, yeah, I could see interpreting it different ways.
Right. Yeah. And for me, what came up, which is not to say, this is what you meant, it's just what came to me listening to you, was the idea of cleansing, and even further, like a washing away, like if the ground is full of tears I saw even blood, and I thought of like Native Americans, and just like the ground covered with all this
Oh, yeah.
pain and history, and this rain coming in to,
Wash it away.
clear it, to heal it.
Oh,
Really.
I love that. You know what? I just got a chill.
Right.
And that
Which
also makes
opens
me
the
think how,
growth.
just one more thing, but how a couple of people had mentioned sadness and grief, that I don't know if any of you are familiar with Carla McLaren, who talks about the energy or the language of emotions, is one of her books. And she says the purpose of sadness is to assist us in letting go and releasing. So the emotion has an energy to it that can actually, I think sadness and grief are so often connected to traumas, or trigger other traumas where there was sadness and grief, that it gets muddy. But it really helps me if I can look at it as the energy of letting go, and even with a certain sweetness to it, like a sweet sadness and a sort of a sweet release. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there, but because that can tie into that idea as well.
Yeah. Would you post her name and the name of the book in the Facebook group, so that people, could just sort of have that as a reference? Right. And that also reminded me of when that tears, depending on why you're crying, it's a different chemical makeup. So thinking about that too, of, if you're sad and you're crying, you're releasing it. You are literally releasing certain chemicals from your body, and doing a cleansing on that level too.
Yeah, that's right. I've read I forget if it was stress hormones or the neurotransmitters connected with stress actually are washed out in our tears.
Yeah, so pretty interesting. Heather, she's maybe talking to Randy over there. Yeah, we're gonna catch you up a little bit. Can't go through. Yeah, okay. Hey, so Heather, for you and for Judy, just a really very short synopsis of what happened when neither one of you were there, is doing kind of a guided visualization of going up out the top of your head to the edge of space, and calling in and connecting with, and this, if you haven't figured it out yet, a lot of it had to do with the sadness and the grief and the what to do with all this turmoil and the past pain and the current pain around racist stuff. So the idea of on the level of we are eternal spiritual beings and the souls that we are have nothing to do with any of this stuff. They don't see it. They don't, it's like, this is like totally like human personality, ego, like living on earth stuff. And so the rest of our greater selves is, just like, all right, sort of do what you do. But to bring in the power and the clarity and the neutrality of that even, and the love attached to that. And then on the other hand, connecting with ancestors of our human suits, our life here and past lives where we've been on every facet of the play of humanity. We've been everything somewhere in there. And we have ancestors that also hold the pain and the anguish from these things. And we also have ancestors who are like outside of that, from, I don't know, before that or a different lineage or something. And we can bring that in too, and that we can bring that and be inspired and informed by that, and also by the releasing, like kind of while we were out there, sort of understanding and connecting with the ancestors and the pain and the lineage of that, and also letting that go for ourselves and for our ancestors, and also for who's coming ahead. And then bringing all of that, okay, before we left, we asked for a gift from source, from whomever, like something that beyond, something that we couldn't even know or name. So it was like beyond our own comprehension to receive something, and then to come back down this beam of light into our bodies with the new knowledge and hopefully lightness of having released some of that burden and guilt and shame and grief and the whole schmear. And then having our strands of DNA literally unwind so that we could release the information that had already been encoded there from our lifetime here of, patterns of racism and rules and blueprints and just the disinformation or misinformation, and letting all of that go, continuing to bring in all this new capacity and new ability to be and to be responsible in a new way, bringing that into our DNA. And then at that point, we're vibrating on a whole nother frequency. And so we're having a different experience and the potential for a different experience. And we're also sending that out we're like emanating out a new signal. So with this particular process, when you do this, it's like, don't be surprised if the world starts responding to you differently or showing up differently for you. Because we just really changed, like we literally changed your DNA. And our DNA actually talks to other people's DNA. So that's, in a very big nutshell, what happened. I'm sure I left things out, but
I know when I left.
yeah.
I know when I left.
Okay. When
we just went straight up, I just kept going. Don't remember anything after that.
Okay. All right. Well, you were in the right quadrant or something then. Yeah. So this is recorded so that you can go back, and
That's great. I want to do this tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Right. And I'll teach more about the one command itself, and more about formulating your own and doing this yourself on whatever. It can be a pretty powerful process. But that's kind of what I wanted to bring to you today. Heather?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I can't wait to see the replay.
Great.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, good.
You're doing that's so funny.
So we got a few minutes. I have a meditation that I lead for a bunch of Buddhists at 6:00, so I need to go. But we got a few minutes if you have any other comments or questions or something, or even like technical. Gee, I wish you met at 4:30 instead of 5 or 5:30. Whatever. Just bring it. You got 8
Everything's
minutes.
fine with me.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah.
It's all good.
All right. Sweet. Good.
Thank you, Mite.
Yeah, you bet. If it ain't broke, don't
Yeah,
fix it.
thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my heart feels expanded just being with y'all.
Great.
That's what's
Yeah.
good
That's
about
true.
this. You know, like it just getting together like this, just doing this kind of thing. It's just always so uplifting.
Mm.
Good vibrations, definitely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And now they're even like clearer. One of my teachers, Veronica Torres, who also channels a group called Elohim,
She's very good.
yeah.
She's
Right, I
wonderful.
turned you on to them. Yeah. They talk a lot about energetic leadership, you know, and that sometimes like the biggest thing that we can do is to not get caught up, you know, to not add fuel to the fire, whatever, which doesn't mean don't show up or don't do anything, right? But it's to do it, to act and to be present from a different kind of space and from a different level of understanding that we are working on cultivating for ourselves and together. You know, and sometimes I feel uncomfortable, like, you know, saying any of that, like in the general public, you know, and so I pick and choose where I kind of put any of that out. But even without saying any of it, without speaking any of it, we're still like, we're doing it, you know, and on some level, I feel like we're like the air filters, you know, in like this polluted world. And we can recognize that things are not necessarily quite as they seem, or they're not, yes, they're grim on a level, and on another level, you know, it's energy and things can shift and change, and we can hold that possibility. And without ever saying anything to anyone, you know, play that part. So that's some of what I'm doing, you know, and how I'm dealing with it. I also sign a lot of petitions, but
You know, it's true that when you brought that up, it made me think of, I'm starting to notice more and more that I don't have to say so much. Like when I'm in a group, if I think about a question, somebody around me will ask that question. And then I'm like, I'm playing with that and noticing, like, so if I can do that, then that means if I'm upset or angry, then that can get to another person too without ever speaking a word.
right.
Oh, well,
But if I also have love and good, happy vibes, that gets to people too.
well,
Right.
you know, before any of us even thought about any of this kind of stuff, you know, say like when we were, just say like 25, 30 years ago, something like that,
Mhm.
you can, you know, just by sometimes walking into a room, if somebody was pissed off about something or, you know,
Cut
whatever.
it with a knife, right?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
but we didn't know what it was back then, you know.
Right.
Right.
And we didn't ever think of the opposite, right? If we could walk into a room and feel
Right.
anger, or
Anger.
and, you know, you don't think, oh, and then there was that other time that I walked into a room and it felt so peaceful.
And everything was fabulous.
right?
Yeah.
And
No, because
we can
because
hold,
we always recognize the negative.
Right.
right.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a lot of times when I've noticed, you know, I mean, we all do it too. There's people we just love being around because they're so much fun, you know, and that's the
Yeah.
opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's just
Okay.
not as recognized, and like
Mhm.
they don't say you could feel the love with a, you know, something. They just say you could cut the tension with a knife.
Well,
So
you
they don't
know,
have sayings for it.
the
Feel
thing
the love
about
with a
that is
Kleenex.
though, you can, the thing about that though is you could just create your life to be like that.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, that's
Yeah.
the kind of people you want, is just happy people in your life, you know, and
Right.
Right.
it works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
You know,
starting
then-
to recognize that.
Yeah, and then when some like asshole comes along, you go, look at the asshole, and that's all. You know, that's
And you
all.
can say it in your
affects you.
head so he can hear it.
That's all it affects you. You don't get upset about anything.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah. I actually saw a quote just the other day from Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, and paraphrasing that, if in a boat, like a boat of refugees leaving the country, if one person in the boat is calm, they can keep calm in the boat. You know, that it just, everybody doesn't even have to be, and we're that powerful when we put that out,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah.
yay for us doing what we're
Yay
doing.
for us. It's right.
Yeah.
Doing God's work.
Uh-huh. Right. I always felt like I was here for a reason. I think, you know, the time has come, if not before, certainly now.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well,
Well,
thank you, Miche.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, everybody. And
Thank you.
Time's up.
We'll see you Thursday.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, feel free to
See you next week.
Yeah. Okay. You know, pose questions.
And tomorrow for the meditation.
What's that?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. The meditation tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wednesdays.
Mention the
Yeah.
Wednesday night meditation, because any of us can come to that if you're putting it on your,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
just on your public
Right.
page.
I'll put it in there too. Yep. Okay. Cool.
Saying.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
See you
All right.
later.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.